All right, so let's get right into the thick of things, guys. If you're anything like me and you want to stack as much precious metals as you can, with as a little bit of capital that you can give out, I'm going to give you some information. I think it's time to nerd out just a little bit more. This is something that I like to do from time to time, and it kind of eases my mind. So, what we have going on tomorrow, number one, we have the Fed meeting or the Fed discussion, or whether or not the Fed is going to raise interest rates. So, what do we know? We know firsthand that a 50 basis point rate hike is off the table. There's absolutely no way that the Fed can raise interest rates 50 basis points. There's just no way that that can happen. So number two, what is the probability of a quarter basis point? Now, the reason why it has to be a quarter basis point is because if the Fed just halts all interest rates hikes, they don't have a leg to stand on. They lose all confidence, just like a lot of consumers are losing confidence in the banks right now. So I think a halt is totally off the table. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go over to CME Fed Watch. And this is a tool. It's free. Anybody can use it. I'll leave a link down in the description so you guys can go check it out yourself. So it does, as of right now, it does give you a time. It is 22 hours and 40 minutes until the Fed decision. All right. So let's go to the current. All right, so the current probability that they're going to raise interest rates a quarter basis point is 86.4%. So that's pretty much a lock. It's pretty much a guarantee at this point. 13.6% saying that they won't. And like I said, I just don't see them halting this rate hike. I think it is the last one they're going to be able to do. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to show you in the probabilities tab that nobody ever talks about here in this realm. So let's go to the probabilities tab, and it shows you the meeting dates, right? This key information that you guys need to be aware of because it affects your finances, and it is a tool and it's a process. It's not the only tool, but it is one of the tools in the toolboxes. So I want to give it to you, and if you can help you stack a little bit more gold and silver, then I'm doing my job right. All right. So here we go. The meeting date is tomorrow, 3/22. The next one is 5/3. The next one is 6/14. So if you get into the 6/14 and the 7/26, look at the numbers to the right. These are the probabilities. All right. So we talked about 86.4% for tomorrow, but look at in May. There's a 38% chance that they're going to raise another quarter basis point, and a 56% chance that they're going to raise it 50 basis points. I think that is the probability because of the unknown of what the banks are going to do and the unknown of inflation as well. So go back. Let's go down to 6/14. All right. So the odds even out just a little bit more. But if you look at July, you start to see that possible Fed pivot, right? A 7.2% swing to a cut, which is pretty significant. It just depends on what inflation is doing and what the markets are doing. So that's a long way out. It's hard to tell what exactly is going to happen. But if you go down and you look at 9/20, check that out. The probability of rate cuts start really, really speeding up. And just check that out. There's just, by the end of the year, the probability of rate cuts is pretty much a done deal. If you go down here to the total probabilities, the hikes, look how it switches over. No change, and then to easing. So that should give you a little bit of perspective of what you should be doing in those time frames, right? Right now, I think that with the rate cut that we're going to have, that's a key indicator of what's going to take place later this week. Remember what happened last time, right? The next day, the markets, they were kind of flat, or they went up just a little bit. Even gold and silver did. But if you remember the following day, the markets tanked, and so did gold and silver. So it was a little bit eye-opening for a lot of people in the community. I got a lot of comments saying, "Oh my God, why does this always happen to me?" So this is one of the ways that you can avoid it, right? If I can help you save some dollars and get some more gold and silver, then I've done my job. So the second thing I want to talk about is the banks and why they have been essentially getting ran over here. The Fed tried to offload its balance sheet. All right, that has now seemed to gone the other way. The Fed has changed its course. Now, the funny thing about that is quantitative tightening is different than quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is like essentially printing money, giving blah 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 to the banks. So quantitative tightening is the opposite. And what took place? You started having bank failures. They started choking on it, right? They started choking on their own toxic assets that the Fed was feeding back to them. So you started getting these bank failures. So that tells me there's no way that the Fed can can get that stuff off its balance sheet. It's just not going to happen, right? So that tells me, going back to the chart that we saw previously, that tells me that we're going to go back to quantitative easing sometime either the end of this year or into next year. And that is when things can get a little bit explosive. And if you don't remember what took place in 2020, it was a great time to be in the markets. You had Congress giving out checks. You had the Fed quantitative easing. It was a good time to invest. Great time. So if that takes place again, guys, you can expect the same result to happen again. Is it a certainty? Absolutely not. But the prime time to be in the market is either now or approaching rapidly. So you want to have that dry powder ready to go. And if you are looking to get into some real estate, absolutely, the interest rates are going to be coming back down. So it's a good opportunity. So that leads me to my next one, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, if you look around crypto YouTube, they've been talking about 1 million Bitcoin, right? I've seen that quite a bit. That's just not going to happen. I just don't see that taking place, guys. You're just setting yourself up for failure. In 90 days, 1 million Bitcoin? Come on. That's a little preposterous. I'm a believer in it. I like to have a little bit of my capital inside of crypto, not all of it, right? I like a little bit of risk right now in my life, but it's not for everybody. But I just want you guys to manage expectations. What's going to happen here in the next couple of days with crypto is crucial. You could get a nice reversal, especially if Bitcoin can't get past 30,000, right? It's hitting a ceiling right at this moment. So just be careful, guys. I know a lot of you guys are getting hyped up by crypto. Just be careful. And as always, guys, you know how we are. Keep grinding on your stack.